Do you ever feel like you don't have enough energy? Do you have insomnia or IBS? Have you ever been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome? It could possibly be due to parasites taking residence in your body. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Leslie Birkland, and I am here with vibration expert, Mr. Nicholas Brighter. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here and talk about parasites today. Are
Yeah.
are you referring to parasitic worms, or what kind of parasites are we?
Okay, I'm not talking about like mosquitoes or lice or ticks. It's about those little organisms that invade our bodies. They live inside and they eat up all of our nutrients and sometimes our blood.
Okay, so I've read about and heard about parasitic worms in that it's an issue in some countries. Is it an issue here in the US?
You know, it's really that's an excellent question because in the US, we think that we are so clean and we are clean conscious. So we believe that we're immune and that we're parasite free. And that's not the case. There are parasites all over the world and also in the United States of America.
Okay, well that's interesting. So
Yeah.
do are you telling me that what amount of people, I guess, have parasites? Do most people have parasites?
Yeah, everyone has parasites, including you.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I know. Um, parasites, where you find these type of parasites that go in our body, you can find them in dirt, just dirt
mhm.
outside. You run around barefoot.
And you
You know,
said everyone has parasites?
everyone has parasites all over the
Hmm.
world. Nobody is completely parasite free. Some people have more parasites than others, depending on their lifestyle. And you don't want it to get to the point where you get what's called parasite infection. But where we get parasites is, basically in any kind of dirt, earth, when you go to the beach, especially at the beach, any kind of unwashed vegetables and fruits, especially organic, because they're just in really good dirt that just happens to have parasites and they don't have any pesticides on it. So organic fruits and
Mm.
vegetables,
Mm.
meat, yeah, and meats that are not cooked thoroughly. Contaminated water, and when we think about contaminated water, we always think of, just muddy water. It could be the water from your sink, from your spout at home, and have some contamination. So, yeah.
So what symptoms would someone have? How would someone know if they have let's say you said it was a concern if they get a parasite infection, or what are some of the symptoms someone would have if
Yes,
they
if it
get to
gets
that
to the
point?
point where you actually have, too many parasites in your body and you have what's called a parasitic, infection, you just have to consider that the parasites, they live off of our blood. Um, they live off of our undigested food. They sometimes reside, in our intestines, like the walls of our intestines. Um, they get into our bloodstream. They also can migrate. Some of the worms can migrate, all over your body, throughout your body. So the symptoms vary. It really is depending on the type of worms. And it could be nausea, lack of appetite, not being able to control your weight one way or the other. You might have sugar cravings. If you have extreme sugar cravings, diarrhea or constipation, you don't seem to ever be regular. You either have diarrhea or you're kind of backed up.
Hmm.
You have
That makes
tummy
sense.
or
If
abdomen
they're, yeah, it's
pain.
in your gut.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Let me see, abdomen pain, weakness, a constant sort of low grade, fever, itchiness. All of that could be from parasitic worms, and worms like hookworms, tapeworms, and pinworms, just to name a few.
And how would someone get rid of the parasites that they may have?
Well, it's relatively easy. What I recommend, I highly recommend, is a yearly parasitic cleanse. You can just simply go to an herb shop, go to Amazon, your local drugstore, and look for a parasitic cleanse or parasite cleanse. And I really suggest that when you look at the cleanses, and by the way, they do come in capsules or in a tincture. I prefer the one that is the drops in a tincture. But you want to look for three key ingredients. Those are clove flower bud, worm wood, and black walnut hull. So those are the three things. You need to take the cleanse for a minimum of 2 weeks. I recently just completed a cleanse, and I did a 3-week cleanse, and it is a bit of a process because for the first couple days I was feeling itchy and I did have a mild headache. That can last up to like 4 days. You actually, my skin started fluffing off, like I was sort of, having flaky skin. If you're really curious and you want to see, some of the parasites, about day 12, you can actually take a stool sample or just actually look at your stool, and you should visibly see little worms in your stool.
So
you don't have to do that, but it's more of a confirmation. Like if you really want to confirm, am I getting rid of these parasites by using this parasitic cleanse, and by actually, looking at your stool, that will, that will just confirm it. Now, I completed the cleanse just recently, and I can tell you that I feel absolutely terrific.
That's great hearing that you feel really great after doing this cleanse. Now, do you recommend a person do a cleanse regardless, sort of preventatively, or is it only when they're experiencing symptoms? When's the best time for someone?
I think everyone should do a cleanse. Everyone, regardless, should do a cleanse once a year, because you do have parasites and you want to eliminate the parasites because they will build up. I mean, some of these parasites can stay in your system for years, and it may take years for you to have what they call, parasite infection. So why not, just get rid of them now? And then there's things that you can do throughout the year when you're not doing the cleanse, like just washing your hands, making sure that your meat is cooked thoroughly, rinsing off your fruits. Anytime you go outside, in your bare feet, you make sure to rinse your feet off before you come back in the house. Keep your pets and animals clean. Especially if you are a gardener. I'm a gardener. And then what you'd want to do is always wear gloves because there's parasites in dirt. And lastly, if you are going to do your yearly parasite cleanse, I recommend that the entire family, that your husband do it or your spouse, your wife, and then also have your children do it so that you're all doing the cleanse at the same time.
Okay. Well, the takeaway for me is, wash my hands after I touch anything suspect, which is something that I prefer to do. It sometimes I get lazy about anyways. And the organic fruit is an interesting point that you raised, that I mean, I always wash my fruit anyways, but it's not something I've had thought about, I guess.
Okay. Well, that will reduce the parasites that you ingest and that you get into your system.
The lack of pesticides. I hadn't really considered that organic food might actually have more.
Yeah.
So
their organic food is better for you, but they come with little organisms that can invade our body. So, just taking some simple precautions, and then doing a yearly cleanse. And I think that everyone should do that. Are you going to do one?
I'm definitely considering it now, and it's not something I had considered beforehand.
I know. So, we don't think about it, do we? So
thank you, Dr. Leslie. You always come up with interesting topics. If any of our viewers would like to contact Dr. Leslie, simply go to her website at lesliebirkland.com. Thank you for listening to the Brighter Life Show.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.